Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get started on our GitHub search application. Now you'll notice that I'm using a different editor. I'm using Visual Studio Code. In the last project I used Sublime Text, but I decided to move to Visual Studio because it has much better TypeScript support and code highlighting. Alright, this editor is free, so if you just Google Visual Studio Code, you can go ahead and download and install it. Alright, so what we're going to do to get started is go to angular.io and click on the Get Started button and go down to where the link for the QuickStart, and we're going to click on that. That'll take us to the GitHub page, and what we're going to do is just clone this whole package. So let's copy this git clone command, and then what we'll do is open up, let's see, I'm going to go to my C drive and projects, and I'm going to go ahead and choose this git bash here option, and that's going to open up a command line right in the projects folder. Alright, and then what I want to do is paste that git clone command. I'm just going to change this my proj at the end. Let's change that to GitHub search. Okay, so what this is going to do is it's going to clone the QuickStart package into a folder called GitHub search. Okay, and in the last video we went through and copy and pasted a lot of the config and stuff like that, but since we're done with that, we're just going to be cloning the QuickStart from now on. Alright, so let's go and cd into GitHub search, and what we want to do now is run npm install to get all those dependencies installed. And what I'll do is bring that folder into Visual Studio Code. Okay, so now we have all those files available on the side here. Alright, and we should be able to run it as soon as this is done. Okay, so now that that's done, we can say npm start. And then it'll open up this page for us. Okay, if we hit F12, you can see that there's no errors in the console. So everything's good up to this point. Now what we're going to do is create a new component in the app folder. Okay, so in the app folder, let's create another folder called components. And inside components, we're only going to have one component for the profile. So I'm not going to put it in its own folder. We're just going to create the files right in here. So let's create a file called profile. Profile.component.ts. Alright, and let's open that up. And you can see that it's already compiled into JS. And we're going to copy what we have in our app component.ts file. And then we're going to change the selector. We'll change that to, let's say, profile. And we're going to add a template URL here. We'll change that to profile.component.html. Alright, in order to use relative paths, we have to say module ID and set that to module.id. And then we're just going to change this app component to profile component. Okay, so that should do it. Let's save it, and then what we'll do is create inside the components folder a new file called profile.component.html. And let's just say profile. Okay, now we have to bring that into the main component, so let's go to app.component.ts, and we're going to import that. Okay, that's going to be in the components folder. And then we need to add that as a directive, so we're going to go right here and say directives. You can see the code highlighting and the hints are much better than they are with Sublime. Okay, and then let's go into this template right here, and let's just add profile. Actually, let's go like this. Save that. Actually, you know what? We want these. We don't want an uppercase P. Okay, so we'll save that. And now you can see the profile component is now being shown through the app component. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and stop here, and then in the next video we're going to start to work with the GitHub API, and we're going to create a service to fetch profiles.